In our previous video, we embarked on an adventure through Edwardian tailoring that yielded us a jacket and vest fit for Aziraphale from Good Omens, and to complete this outfit, we now need to engage with the demonic nature of skirt making, a plan carried about by those in the underworld with limited success. Limited, in fact, because sewing and tailoring at this time was very much influenced by a few well-placed miracles used by a certain angel, and thus skirts were made a bit more manageable, even if they did have a ridiculous amount of gores. I'm not sure I will get that kind of help, unfortunately, but we will see. So many gores. No miracles for me. I'm going in because every one of these gores has a line, which I believe is how it's going to be pleated up on time. So when marking it with our wax, I'm going to go in and baste with white so that if I iron anything, this isn't going to go away, because that's not fun. Let's see how this goes. And thus began the careful process of marking each gore, wherein I quickly learned that poking holes and marking with wax was way better than folding, then basting the pleat line, stitching the 1/2 inch seam between the gores, and then pleating up to the markings by first pressing the pleats and then stitching them down just at 7 1/4 inches only. I cut each piece as I went so I didn't lose track of where I was. And then it was time to figure out the back, which I didn't understand. So I'm looking at this piece here and I'm seeing this long thing here. That's actually not the back. This is the back. So this is actually, this line here is where this is going to be pleated up to here. That goes on to that. So really what I'm doing is, I think this is actually going to be, I think the inverted pleat goes all the way to here. Do we, like, do the instructions say that? No, but like, we're making some educated guesses here. And as usually happens, just going for it and doing it physically helped me understand the position of the pleats. I only had to add 1 extra pleat. That's kind of impressive. The next step was adding a belt, which I think is just a cord with bias wrapped over it and stitched down. This actually helped me a little to tighten up the waist, which, since it was cut on the curve, does tend to lose its shape. There were several options for plackets, but I decided to go with this one. This meant adding a reinforced flap to the center back. Alrighty, we have a placket. I'm gonna try hooks and eyes, but we will see. We'll see how that goes, and I gotta do something about this rough edge here. My solution was to stitch bias. I actually had some spare black cotton fabric from another project we might know about, and it seemed only suiting that I make some bias with it as well as use it later for the guard on the bottom of the skirt. As you can see, the guard was stitched on as a backing, often to cover up any stiffening at the hem, and extends beyond the hem to protect the edge from dirt or damage. Because I was pleating so much though, I wanted to have a more crisp edge, and so I decided to forego the stiffening. Once everything was stitched and pressed as I wanted it, I then hand sewed the guard to the skirt. Okay, we have our placket done. Our closure's in the back. I need to press this because it's still a little wrinkly. But yeah, it actually turned out pretty good. I'm actually really happy with this. I did the bias here just because it was just fraying and stuff. Technically I should finish off all of these things, but I'm so bad at that. It's just like I never do it. If I was wearing this every day, absolutely. If this really was my clothes, sure. And with that, it was time to get all of the accessories together. For me, the hat is always the final project. I had bought a massive sun hat, which seemed to make sense for the fashion sketch. I knew there needed to be a dove on it to correspond with Crowley's raven, and I needed a bunch of flowers, which I just happened to steal from a fake flower bouquet I'd bought a while back to decorate my room. Then it was a matter of piecing all the scraps of silk from my linings, and the only thing I regret is that I have not yet found a way to press out the folds in the hat from shipping. Oh well, hopefully you forgive me. Making both of these characters has really been a fun challenge. I got to understand them each through their various interests and ways of dressing. While Crowley tends to do things on the spot, just going for it, and dresses more like a laid-back rock star, Aziraphale cares a lot more about posture, and things being done in a more planned way, but clearly is a bit messy if you've ever seen his desk. His dress is more structured and tailored, but also involves softer and more wrinkled aspects, such as the velvet and wools that aren't super stiff. You can definitely see how he sort of wishes he was a bit more put together than he is at times, and how his reluctance to jump in sometimes causes more harm than good. He's also doing quite a bit more masking than Crowley, which most likely he will learn isn't worth whatever he might possibly earn from it, and what he might potentially lose. Both could certainly benefit from a bit more communication skills, even if they are eternal beings. As we enter December, I want to wish you a happy holiday of any kind that you celebrate, and remember that the most precious gift you possess is your authentic self. Take care, my salty possums. Until next time.